we should talk about Jaxson Dart, but like, what am I going to say about Jaxson Dart that I haven't been saying for a effing month? He's a top 12 fantasy quarterback. He is a QB1. The question is like, oh, is he now a QB1 going? He's been a QB1. He's been a QB1 this entire time.
You said it before he started a game. You said he's a top 12 quarterback the rest of the season.
Yes.
And I kind of looked at you like, oh, that's a little bold, and so far, it's exactly what he's been.
Since taking over as a starter week 4, he's the 13th best quarterback in points per game. He's averaging 19.7. He's had at least 50 rushing yards in all 3 starts. That was my bet yesterday was Jaxson Dart over on the rushing. I said over on 27.5. It closed at 29.5. He blew past both of those. He's a lunatic. Exactly. At least so. And, you know, that the 20-yard touchdown run, the first one of the game, was unbelievable. So, again, you see it right there on the screen. Like, when you can do that against the Eagles, and, again, I get it. The Eagles' defense was missing 2 key starters. But still, he was – like, I didn't even know little Jordan Humphrey was on the team. Like, I mean, seriously.
That excuse just doesn't really work for what the Giants are dealing with as well. Julio, thank you. Our producer, Steven slander will not be tolerated. The Jaguars being good is an equinox once-in-a-lifetime event. All
right.
That's fair.
Okay, so this is great. This is actually helpful because we have found Steven D'Agostino's
burner account.
Yeah. I didn't know Julio think you are, but we've now found it.
Explains why he's on the top 10 of the
That's
happy
exactly
hour
right.
Also, so people know, Steven is the one who chooses for that comment to appear.
Of course.
Literally.
Especially on Fridays.
Of course.
It's not a backup producer Pete day,
Julio,
don't get me started on him right now.
Backup producer Pete is on cloud 9.
Noted Giants fan.
Noted Giants fan.
Let's have a glass of water.
Yeah.
And maybe a Gatorade mixed in with it.
But Julio, I want you to understand, like, we're happy for the Jaguars. You know, a lot of friends over in that organization. But producer Steven Slander has been and will continue to be, as long as I'm alive, a part of the show, a part of the ethos of Fantasy Football Happy Hour. As long as the show exists, there will always be producer Steven Slander. Make no mistake.
Exactly. DiCaprio on Wall Street. The show goes on.
Yes.
Producer Steven Slander will remain.
We need it. We absolutely need it. All right, somehow back to this game. I do want to get back to the original question there of just Dart being a QB in that tier 1. I think it's beyond, just what he's shown so far.
There's just, because of the rushing, there's a floor. Again, it didn't matter the fact that he didn't even have Slayton. And not that Slayton's that great, but you felt like, okay, well, that's at least somebody, right? But, he made Wan'Dale Robinson productive, right? Second game of the season with over 20 fantasy points for Wan'Dale Robinson, 27% target share. Wan'Dale looked good. The touchdown was great there. But, he didn't get a ton of production from Theo Johnson, but, these are all cliches, but it's true. There's a guttiness to him. There's a moxie. There's a swagger. This is going to sound insane, but he sort of reminds me of Baker Mayfield.
Well, they think they can win behind him.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's not a cliche in the NFL. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs play that way with Baker Mayfield, like you just said. I think there's a lot of quarterbacks like that where you go out there and go, oh, we're going to probably win today, or we think we can win today.
Well, that's where, you guys make fun of me as being a homer, but that's where the whole faith in 5 thing came from, with Jaden Daniels. He turned that franchise around. Credit to Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury and everyone, but, Jaden Daniels came in, they were just all of a sudden, the past 20 years were we can win with this guy. Yep. I have faith in 5 that it's going to work out no matter what's happening during the game. Of course, they had, 6 crazy comebacks last week. But there are quarterbacks like that just
galvanize a team.
That galvanizes a team. And so Dart, just because of the frenetic nature of it and sort of the unconventional running, that's why he sort of reminds me of Baker Mayfield. By the way, pretty accurate. I mean, I think...
I thought he looked awesome last night. I thought he looked as good as I've ever seen him play, and I've been watching him for a couple of years now. He just was confident. He was throwing with anticipation. I think some of the complaints or critiques of him as a prospect was there's times where he likes to see it open. Last night he was throwing guys open.
He was throwing guys open with 3 guys in his face.
Right.
So that one third down to Theo Johnson on the right side of the field, as he's got guys, he played out of his mind.
He's elevated his game, without a doubt.
And this may be hyperbole. Again, there's still 2-4. We got a lot of football left. But I think there's an argument to be made that regardless of what happens with the Giants this season, that Brian Daboll last night saved his job. And here's my argument. Because I think, and you're a better judge of this than I am, but I think
I'm in the New York media.
What?
I'm in the New York
media.
You
are part of the New York media. You are a Sports Emmy losing member
but nominated.
of the New York nominated.
Twice
nominated.
Twice losing.
2-time losing Sports Emmy.
That's
exactly.
Right. I'm Josh Allen. I come this close every year.
Every close.
Yep.
Todd Zeal, a.k.a. Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. See? Perfect comp.
Exactly right.
I just can't get over the Todd Zeal hump.
He's your Mahomes.
Nobody will give me – all that matters for my standards is I win the Emmy over Todd Zeal.
Yeah,
but anything
exactly.
less than that's a bad season.
100%. You're going to need Todd Zeal to retire.
Hey,
to
guys,
take
it's another
himself
bad
out of the
season.
running. And
I know.
But what I was going to say about Dayball here is that that I think Jaxson Dart is playing better as a pro than even the most optimistic scouting had on him as a guy coming out of college.
This early?
This early,
Right.
game 5 or whatever his career, like he was a late round, first round pick, and a lot of draft pundits were like, that seems a little early for Jaxson Dart.
Right.
We had a day 2 grade on him.
Right.
Right? I mean, there were,
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
was not a locked in first round pick the way
Right.
everyone was like Cam Ward's going in the first, and so I think, okay, so then why is that? Why has Jaxson Dart been able to elevate his game behind a suspect offensive line, losing the one, true elite weapon he had in the passing attack early on? And I think you have to give some credit to the coaching staff that they have put him in a position
Absolutely.
to succeed. And so if I am the ownership of the Giants, I'm like, listen, this kid's the franchise, and I don't want to screw that up. Like, who wants to bring in a different offensive system? You know what I mean? Like,
Without a doubt.
I think that's my argument there.
And I think you see it all the time with like him and Brian Daboll. It's almost very theatric and dramatic at times, but I think it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he hugs him. Thank you for saving my job.
Yes. Holds his head. He even slapped him after a concussion test. I was like, all right, settle down.
I'm a Dayball fan. I think Dayball has been dealt a bad hand in New York for much of his tenure there. I think he's a good coach.
I think he's done a better job
offensive
than
coach.
the GM that's drafting the players.
Yeah.
And I understand you can counter, well, Joe Shane had a hand in drafting Jaxson Dart. I'm talking about the roster.
For sure.
Right? Like, it's been a bad roster for too long, and it finally feels like it's turning now.
Yeah. For sure. They inherited a bad situation from Gettleman, and then they stupidly won the first year, and they had to sign Daniel Jones. And like, whatever, we go through a whole thing. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.